Hey there, and in this episode we are going to be talking about competitors. I know you hate those guys, so join me while I talk all about how you should handle them. So we've all been there. You're in the middle of a great sales meeting and this C word comes up. Competitors. Now the first thing is, I think you should be super pleased if your prospect is talking about your competitors. Now why is that? Well, the reason is, if they're interested enough to be talking not just to you, but to other people, then you know what? They're super serious. So actually, there's a really good indicator there that they are a hot prospect. So don't be afraid when that comes up. And in fact, I will quite often ask people who I'm talking to, who else is it you're speaking to about this? Because I want to know. And actually by asking the question like that, that means I'm making a couple of assumptions. The first assumption is that actually, of course, they're speaking to somebody else because they're serious. The second assumption is that it's sensible to talk to other people. For me to ignore the fact that there are potentially other people that they're involved with or talking to around this project is actually a bit stupid. So for me to ask that just shows that I know how this works, I know how the game's played, and I want to be part of it. The fact that I asked that question in a really open way as well means I'm completely unafraid about that, and I'm not worried about the fact that I know they've been talking to other people. So in summary, don't be afraid to talk about your competitors, but you know, when you get to that, how should you do that? When our competitors come up, we are going to be polite, professional, and we are going to show our own expertise. So the first thing is that slagging off your competitors only makes you look small. So it's a really good idea not to do that. And when I say slagging off, I don't just mean what you say. I mean the way that you look, the eyes that you roll, the touch that you make, all of those non-verbal clues will tell the person in front of you exactly what you think. Just out of interest as well, I've seen this happen, especially when there is already a competitor working with the person in front of you. Actually, you know what? The more you disparage that person, potentially you're actually calling that person stupid because, let's be honest, they employed them in the first place. So if they're really that rubbish, well, surely the person in front of you should have realised that. And if they haven't, then they're stupid. So I think it's one of those things to be really respectful wherever you are. You have no idea of the connections that are going on there. It could be a family friend. It could be someone they've worked with for years. It could even be somebody who's been really polite about you. So that's my number one tip. Don't be disparaging. What I do think that you should do though is know your competitors. And what I mean by that is know what they're really good at and know what you're really good at. Because you know what? There are always things that you do that your competitors don't. That is, of course, what makes you unique and special. So know what your strengths are. One of the things that I really love to do is say, oh, such and such, they're really good at that. The key difference you'll find with me is insert my big strong point here. So that's a great way of acknowledging your competitor, acknowledging that they're great at some stuff, because let's be honest, everyone's great at something, but then also actually using it to play your own strength. So you need to know them and know your USP against them, and that's what you can play on when you're having that conversation. The other thing that I've seen people do is pretend they don't know who the competitor is. Now, I understand sometimes you're going to come across a competitor who you don't actually know, but if you know them, then don't pretend that you don't, because it makes you look badly educated about your marketplace. You should know who your competitors are and you should know the space that you're working in. So don't pretend you don't know these people, especially if you do. Another really good question to ask when you're talking about competitors is to be really open about what points of comparison they're actually looking for. And I will quite often be happy to ask about this and say, so obviously you're talking to a few companies around this project right now. What are the key points of comparison and measurables that you're looking for to make your final decision? People are often too scared to ask this, but you know what? Once you know that they're talking to other people, you might as well be really open with it. And the less intimidated you are and the more matter of fact you are about that situation, the more knowledgeable and experienced it makes you look. So that's definitely something to think about, and you're likely to find out some really valuable information about what's really important to your prospect about the project that you're talking about. And my last tip is to think about social proof, especially when people are making decisions between a number of different suppliers. Then there's really an opportunity for you to play the card around your social proof, any case studies, testimonials, or even other customers that your prospect could talk to who could big you up. And that's really helpful because it is a way of them understanding exactly not only the result that you're going to deliver, but the way in which you're going to deliver it. So my key tips around this are, don't be afraid to ask to try and find out who the competitors on this project might actually be. Also, don't be disparaging about people. Instead, be knowledgeable and show your experience in the marketplace. Recognize something good that they do and then position your own key USP against that. Wherever you can, bring in social proof and ask them what comparison points that they're going to use on making the final decision. I'd love to hear how you deal with your competitors, and actually if some of your competitors have instead become collaborators. So let me know in the comments. If you've enjoyed this video, I'd love for you to subscribe and click the bell so that you're notified next time I post a video. And until next time, just remember to be sales-tastic.